What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Do It With Dan. We're back again at the shop. Now, I know we've been talking a lot about the Magna. Depending on how long you've been with me, which for a lot of people, it's been since day one. And you know who you are. I love and appreciate you guys. And there's a lot of people who haven't been around that long who are just finding out about a lot of the old shit, right? Like all those girls who figured out that Joji used to be a guy named Filthy Frank. That shit's funny. It doesn't seem that long ago, but a long time ago, I bought this Magna as my first real motorcycle, my first registered motorcycle, and worked really hard at building it exactly how I wanted to at the time. I was just some kid with a MIG welder that only did flux core, and I was doing it out of like a garage that I rented at my apartment. Sometimes I forget that that's how I started doing my fabricating stuff for my working on vehicles. Any sort of real interest, I was working out of a garage at my apartment complex that I rented every month for like $100 a month. So yeah, I worked on this bike right here, the Honda Magna. This is, for those who are watching this video, most of you guys probably are very familiar with the story. I sold it so I could start doing motovlogging back in the day when I went to go buy my CBR 600 F4i, because I thought that no one would want to watch me motovlog on a cruiser. Because at the time, there was really only a couple of motovloggers. It's how I got started on YouTube successfully. I mean, I've been doing YouTube since like 2006, but motovlogging was the first any bit of success I'd ever had at a real YouTube channel. I know last year that I kind of denounced motorcycles and motovlogging because I was so tired of people bringing it up that I just didn't want to deal with it, but now I'm missing the motorcycle stuff. So that's why I'm going full back into motorcycles. Anyway, I sell the bike because I didn't think anyone would want to watch me on a cruiser because I wanted to get a sports bike. That's who was doing it. People who were on sport bikes. I mean, realistically, there was Jake and a couple of the other northern Atlanta guys like Yummy and Chase on Two Wheels who were doing off-road kind of adventure stuff. But for the most part, most people were on sport bikes. Chase on Two Wheels at the time on an R6. Yummy was on his RS6, Yummy R6. Motonacity, he had his R1. And through Jake, actually the original videos that I ever found of motovlogging was of Jake on a sports bike. I think he'd borrowed his buddy's R1 or R6. And that's how I got into it. That's what inspired me to do it. So I was like, I gotta get rid of the cruiser, right? Because no one's gonna watch that. But who would have guessed that years later it would have become the staple of my channel? The thing that brought any sort of passion to my channel was getting this bike back. Right? So in this video is gonna be a lot of talking. We're gonna do a lot of talking and working. But if you know the story about it, so back in the day, I was just starting to get some sort of YouTube notoriety. I was getting a little bit of followers. Still wasn't reciprocating the benefits of having a popular YouTube channel. So I was still a very broke college student just trying to make his way through college. Just to always talk about this bike on video. Someone messaged me, was like, hey dude, those photos that I've seen of your bike back in the day, I think it's for sale right now. No shit. And he sends me the link, and sure enough, it's my bike. I could just tell it was my bike. I knew this bike in and out. I knew everything about this bike. The guy who sent me the link was like, bro, if that's your bike, you should buy it back. And I said, holy shit, that is my bike, but I didn't have the money. I didn't have any money at the time to do that. Like I said, I was broke college student, so I definitely didn't have the money to buy this bike. So I went to bed, didn't think nothing of it again. Then I woke up to a message on Facebook from one of my followers with a link to a GoFundMe for the bike that already had the money in the account, overnight. Then I started tinkering with it and fixing it up and whatnot, and then it was on The Walking Dead. And then after The Walking Dead, just like it always does, it went into don't ride it very much mode because that's what happens during the winter, and it's carbureted, and it runs like shit, then I don't want to ride it. That's happened 5 or 6 times now on YouTube, and people are probably tired of seeing it. Which leads me to my next point. I say all that, I get this really long intro of shit you guys already know to tell you what the plans are for this stupid thing, right? Because it's I really like it. I really like the way it is now. I really enjoy the bike. I like looking at it, the way it looks aesthetically, minus a few things. There's a couple things that I know I'm gonna change going into this build. And I'm also gonna take this time to tell you guys that I don't have any aspirations of when to get this project done. But every now and again, like today, I find myself with spare time at the end of the day to where I can tinker on stuff that's not necessarily hardcore work. And I'm just gonna try to do my best to put in some wrench time here and there on the bike. The videos are gonna be super low key, they're just tinkering, like the Dan After Hours stuff. I know I have the lights on still, but it is Dan After Hours right now. I have a lot more stuff I'm gonna tell you guys about it, but if I don't start working on it, I'll sit here and talk to you guys all day. So right now it's a hardtail in the rear, meaning that there's no rear suspension. You guys don't know what a hardtail is, that's what it is. No rear suspension. Probably thinking to yourself, Dan, why would you do that? It's because I'm a hardened motherfucker and that's just how I like my life to be. No, it's 100% a style thing, it's aesthetics 100%. Some people are either about it or they're not. I don't expect you guys to get it, but it's my shit. If I'm riding a bike, this is the type of bike I like to ride. That being said, one thing about this hardtail that I've done with other hardtails in the past is to keep it simple, and this is not just a me thing, this is a lot of other people do this. They'll just do the top half of the bike being a hardtail, and then leave the bottom this swing arm. So this is still technically a swing arm setup that if I were to chop my supports here, this rear wheel would still move up and down like it was attached to a swing arm, because it is. So what I'd like to do is I'd definitely like to sever that and completely hardtail it. The reason I haven't done that before is because I wasn't confident enough in my ability to do so, but I can build some shit now. And all it is just work. I also want to take this back wheel and stretch it maybe another couple of inches back, because I'd really like to move the seat as low as possible. I want the seat to sit down in the frame to the point where you sit in the bike rather than on the bike. And I'd like to make it where my eye level with a hunched back is just barely clearing the handlebars. I'll have to relocate the forward controls, so I'm thinking about just pushing them a little bit more forward, having them more stretched out right now versus a sport bike. And we'll get more into the smaller details as the build progresses, but I have some really cool headlight ideas that will keep a big single headlight. A lot of people like the LED bars, and I really like the way an LED bar looks on a motorcycle, just probably not on this build. But one decision I want you guys to help me make, and this is gonna require you guys in the comments. I'm gonna go through all the ones and try to tally them, or maybe make like a poll, something like that. Part of me is like, swap the fucking motor. Put like a CBR 1000 motor in it, keep it Honda at least. Make a bunch of fucking power, maybe turbo it, you know? Just make it a terrifying beast, you know? Or do a different kind of engine swap, you know? Maybe like a Ducati V4 to keep it a V4, or do I leave it the stock V4? The main reason I don't want to keep it the OEM engine is because there's really not much more you can do with these. I've done a lot of research over the past couple weeks, and there's not many ways that you can make more power out of these besides carbon and doing a little bit of like, I don't even think they have like hot cams for them or anything. While this engine's great and it's fast, I think that's about as far as I'm willing to be able to like invest into it. Like, I'm not gonna go, it's got 4 individual carbs that all need to be synced. I'm not trying to do like a blow through turbo setup on that. I just don't wanna fuck with it. So for me, it's either keep the engine in stock and do some like custom pipes, or swap it, but then you kind of like lose the reason I want to leave a lot of this decision up to you guys is because I kind of feel like it's y'all's bike too. But I kind of like the fact that this bike is a communal bike a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, fuck you, it's mine. But I think you guys definitely deserve the ability to make some decisions. Just being real from a person to a person, not even like a creator perspective. Yeah, I'm at a crossroads here, so let me know in the comments. But that being said, we're about to get to work. We're like 15 minutes into the video. I've been talking. I appreciate you hanging out. So the goal for today, which there isn't, is just start breaking stuff down. I want to get this thing back down to like more of like a bare frame. Big old bare frame. I want to see what this thing looks like without its bullshit on it, because it's been forever since I've seen it. So I'm just gonna start taking shit off. I do want you guys to appreciate like the vibe I've built for myself. Like, look at my workstation here. I've set it up chill, copyright-free music in the background because I'm a YouTuber. It has to be copyright-free. I got my table all set up. I got a nice clean towel that I stole from Ham this morning. Got my Sonic toolbox ready to rip and roll. Oh man, it's gonna be a good day, Cotton. You know, I think now, starting right off the rip, is a good time to talk about how I've rebranded my other channel and I'm starting over. Not this one, not this channel. If you guys remember, I had a channel called Minimal Effort, depending on how long you've been around. And I did such a good job at using so minimal effort that I uploaded like 3 or 4 videos and then just never posted again. I think that's a pretty good job. Now that's some minimal effort. I feel like my hair looks like shit. So anyways, I've taken that channel and I've decided that I want to rebrand it. And to be honest with you guys, I have this unlimited, oddly creative energy that aren't related to motorcycles or cars or anything like that. And it doesn't match anything on this channel. So I can't put it on here. So I don't have anywhere else to like dump that creative garbage. And it's not necessarily like good stuff. It's just kind of like what I'm thinking about, you know? Kind of like that space video I made where I was talking on the truck. I've got a lot of stuff like that kind of energy. And I don't have a schedule in mind. I'm not doing it for profit. I'm doing it because I want to do it. The channel will be linked in the description if you want to check it out. It's called Side Project. It's literally just that, a side project. If you're into all of that weird shit, it might be a good watch for you guys. Who knows? I don't have any videos on it right this second. I get gas all over the place again. I don't know. I feel like I'm constantly putting gas all over the place. I want to stop doing that. Okay, like what might be one of the things you talk about, Dan, in your new amazing bullshit YouTube channel? Honestly, I don't really have anything particular that comes to mind. It might be something as like an idea that I've had. Like one of the things I've been doing lately is really focusing on how my brain learns. Like, no one taught me how to learn. No one sat down with me and said like, okay, like this is how you learn, because it wouldn't work. It doesn't matter. Like I can't do that with you guys either, because it'll always be different. What makes you learn and what makes me learn are probably gonna be pretty drastically different. The problem was always, how do I get there? How do I get between wanting to do something or kind of having like an idea of something to understanding it and then implicating it? And it was a fucking battle for me. I caught myself, one of the things that I would do a lot is that when I didn't really feel like learning, when I didn't feel like understanding stuff, I just wouldn't do it. Like I just, this is gross. I spent a lot of time over my past 10 years kind of not really knowing how my body learns stuff, just doing what I could to understand the stuff, because there's a big difference between knowing something and understanding something. And it took me a long time to figure out the difference to myself. And you know, I think for a lot of people, learning stuff is just repeating the same information over and over again until you know it. You can retain information without understanding information. It's like the same thing as remembering a number. Okay, yeah, 1 + 1 = 2, but fucking why? Why does 1 + 1 = 2? My brain won't let me just take it as fact. I gotta know why the shit adds up to 2. Explain math to me. Don't explain 1 + 1 = 2. Explain why that shit equals 2. And that was my hang up, mom and dad, if you're listening, why I did so poorly in school. And I think incidentally, it's somehow made me a good teacher in the small things that I do know a lot about, right? And because now I do understand the difference between knowing and understanding. No one is there to explain that to you, because you don't know until you figure it out. I just didn't know that I was doing it wrong. Does that make sense? Now that I know how to learn and understand things, that when I sit down to learn something, like I fucking learn it. Here's a poor example, but I'm gonna run with it. The other night, it was probably like a couple weeks ago, Laura and I were going through all the Marvel movies in order, chronologically, and like how they play out time-wise, because we've been really enjoying them. I really get involved in movies. I love production. I love watching movies multiple times, which is not something that everybody enjoys. So I've seen all the Avenger movies, all the Marvel movies, and a bunch of different movies a million times over. Anywhere between Jurassic Park to Pulp Fiction to Killer Clowns from Outer Space to Smokey and the Bandit. I love movies. I love movies. Anyway, we were watching the Marvel movies in order, and we got to Ant-Man, which I actually I never really liked Ant-Man before. I never understood why. Which is weird, because like I like Paul Rudd. Rewatching it again, I noticed that they were just quantum this and quantum that, and quantum phasing this and quantum manipulate that. I got tired of that, so I started studying quantum physics. I'm taking quantum physics courses online. Reality is whatever you want it to be. Dead battery. I want it to be trash. None of it's worth a shit, right? It's not like I'm gonna become a quantum physicist. I just didn't understand quantum physics, so now I'm researching it so I understand it, which is actually like kind of cool. It's kind of stupid, but it's kind of cool, quantum mechanics. But now, when I want to learn something, I know my process, which is very specific, and I don't want to tell you guys it, because I have to get in my right set of mind, if you know what I'm saying. And like for myself now, I love the process of learning, which is something that I've always hated. And it sucks that I fucking had to go through high school and college before I knew how to learn. Ain't that a bitch? Time is relative. Time's just a construct. You know, it's just an arbitrary organizational system developed by humans in order to categorize a mythical thing called time, which may or may not exist. You know, dimensionally speaking, the only real reason that you say time is real is because that's what you know. You know, that's just your way of organizing it. But if you really break it down, that shit doesn't matter. Okay, maybe not like only that kind of shit, but you get what I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of shit that I think about when I'm not over here working on cars. So it's like a pretty 50-50 split, to be fair. Understanding certain things has always been a problem for me, because I either fully understand things or I don't. Like, there's no in between for me. And that's how it's always been my whole life. Just learning anything has been like that. But now I know how to break stuff down for my mind to understand stuff, or how to like retain it and actually like fathom. I can't be fucking stopped. Like, there's nothing I can't learn. And that's scary thoughts, dude, I'm telling you. Once you realize that you just have to put in a little bit of time and effort and understand stuff, you're like access to the world to do stuff. It's literally unlimited. Once you think about it, it's just figuring out how to understand stuff better and then implicating it. Like, that's all it is. Bro, life just got a whole lot easier. That's what I mean by it's just work. Like, all the time. What does that fucking mean? What I just said. How about that? You know, and a lot of you guys may have noticed too, but I treat you guys a little bit different now. I mean that in like the way I talk to you guys, the way I explain stuff, what I say, how I say it. I've changed that because, honestly, because of how much I fucking hate the way YouTube is. especially like other YouTubers, not my friends. Obviously, like if we're cool, we're cool. You know, you guys know who you are. With the way YouTube has become and like the way you gotta treat everything and like the hustle you gotta do to have the YouTube followers and like the, you know, you gotta do this and you gotta fucking pander. I don't know, dude. I don't want to call it being fake, right? But that's how it feels to me. You know, you have to put on that like facade. Hey everybody, what's going on? Every time. I fucking hate that, dude. And I used to kind of do that because that's what everyone does at first. That's like how everyone does YouTube. They're like, hey guys, very scripted. And I get it, like this, like being honest and open and like communicative with your fan base like doesn't fucking get you 1 million views every day. I get that. But once I saw the facade, you know, like once I saw it, I couldn't do it. You know, I guess what I think is that if I see through it, you know, if I see through the bullshit of like how I have to act and talk, after I saw through that, I was like, it's only a matter of time before every person else sees through it, right? And I think a lot of people do see through it, like especially with a lot of like the modern big YouTubers. They just choose to ignore it, you know? And that's why I always call myself a bad YouTuber, because I just can't do it. I can't do that. I can't be fake with you guys. I can't pretend. You know, I can't act a certain way, and you know what? Like, you guys don't deserve that. You guys don't deserve to be lied to. Not necessarily lied to, just not be who I am. Not to say that I've ever not been who I am. You and I have known each other for a long enough time to where like I don't have to do that. I can be real. I can be 100% comfortable around you guys. Y'all know what's going on in my daily life usually. And obviously, yeah, that's not like the popular thing to do right now, but I mean, look at the channel. I got like 1 million subscribers, like 1.2 mil, but like 40 to 80K watching my videos on the regular. I mean, the shit used to hurt my feelings, but it kind of doesn't anymore because the thing is, I know the people who still watch me are like the realest motherfuckers. And I don't have to worry about you guys. Like, I appreciate it. You know, you guys could be better about like sharing the videos and like stuff like that. That would help. You know, commenting, being active. I try my best to respond to as many people as I can. But outside of that, man, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. So I don't really care. I stopped catering my videos to like try to expand on the algorithm. I do feel like YouTube is suppressing me a little. My channel, my Instagram specifically, has been shadow banned. And I know that for a fact. Mostly because my Instagram fucking slaps. I'm verified. I'm one of the very only people that I know is verified. I know my shit rocks on Instagram. Instagram's trying to pretend like I ain't shadow banned. I know for a fucking fact I'm shadow banned. I don't know about YouTube. I think just slowly but surely I've pushed away pretty much everybody who like didn't give a fuck about me. It was mostly like about the bike stuff. Ironically, I'm talking about that while I'm working on a bike, and I guarantee there's gonna be a bunch of people who are in the comments, you know, for the first time in a long time that haven't watched the video yet. They're gonna be like, man, I'm glad you're back to bike. Been a long time fan, supporter forever. But this is your first time watching a video in like a year. It's cool. I don't mean to sound ungrateful or like shitty. It's just, on a side note, one of the things that's kind of bugged me with YouTube over the years, and again, I don't mean anybody in particular, but like on occasion, you meet up with someone who knows who you are and they got their own page too. And this happened a lot over the years, and it's and a lot less lately, but every now and again it still happens. And it'll be like, you know, someone who you meet early on in their YouTube career, like they're just getting started, especially like during the moto vlogging stuff and whatnot, doing really big. People would come to me and be like, hey Dan, please, you know, help me out, or like, I appreciate the advice if you can give me some advice, you know, because at the time I understood the algorithm. Now it's a gamble for me. And like, we were cool. I was cool with a lot of these YouTubers, and now all of a sudden it's like, some of them get really big views and they've got a lot of subs now. And it's kind of like they don't want to like talk to you anymore because they got their subs and they're like too cool for you. I know that sounds like a really weird thing. It sounds like a very weird thing. And like, you'd think that the opportunity for that to happen would be probably pretty small, but it's enough for me to notice. And that's another thing that I kind of don't like about the YouTube space right now, is that I feel like there's a lot of that going around. Everybody that I know is going through the biggest changes in their lives. There's not a single person in my group of friends that hasn't gone through recently or is going through currently one of the biggest things they've ever done in their life. That's just how it seems to be right now with my friends. I will name drop for a second. I'll say, like, one of the people that has surprised me is Gavin from It's Just a Six. Gavin has been someone who has surpassed me in success tenfold, but he still like talks to me and shit, and we're cool. Like, Gavin is someone who early on in his YouTube career, like I was cool with, because he was cool, and like I leave comments on his videos every now and again if I could. But then he got his success, and he surpassed me in success, his viewership and like his businesses and stuff like that. And the cool part about that is that he still likes to like say what's up to me and talk to me. Like he got his success and he was still cool with me. Not to say that anybody owes me anything. It's just, It was really refreshing. Again, I think it's probably gonna be more consistently like that on this platform nowadays. And I'm just the opposite. If you and me are cool, I'll never forget your fucking name. I've got sponsors that sent me out like $30, $40 products like 5, 6 years ago when I was still a small channel that I still promote for every now and again because that's just who I am. It's how it's been able to get me so far without playing the YouTube game. That's what I mean to say. I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way. This isn't me complaining. This isn't a poor me segment. Like, I'm not even bummed. Oh, woe is Dan, you know, or like my channel's dying or whatever. It's just I've seen this stuff coming for a couple of years, so it doesn't really surprise me. It's actually one of the reasons why I focused on getting the shop ready so much is because I want to do something a little bit bigger than just YouTube. Like, I still want to do YouTube. I'll probably do YouTube until it no longer exists as a platform, you know? But I want to build stuff. You know, bikes. I want to build bikes. I want to build cars. I'm not getting a whole lot done because I'm talking. But I've been putting together in my head a level of tools that I deem necessary to start making custom vehicles. And I do mean, when I say custom vehicles, what I mean, like I'd love to be able to build a couple of hand-built cars a year from the ground up. Like what I plan on doing with the Fox body, what I plan on doing with the 73, and some other stuff. I want every part of that car to be like have my hands on it, to have some influence, whether it's, you know, like a custom bracket, build custom fiberglass dashboards, transmission tunnels and firewalls and suspension, stuff like that. I mean, it'd have to be profitable, you know, somehow. And the truth is that every day I work a little bit at it, you know? Every day I get a little bit closer to getting better at something. You know, whether it's welding this or chopping that or screwing this in, you know, it's all experience. I want to be able to provide like outstanding level of quality work on all my builds. And every step of the way, man, I get just a little bit better at it. But it's something that I'm working on. It's what I enjoy. It's what I'm passionate about, man. Do you have anything that you're passionate about? Like, what do you want to do? What's your shit? What gets you out of bed? What gets your rocks off every morning? For me, it's this. It's building, it's creating. It's like my favorite thing to do. So I got a couple more big purchases, tool-wise, that I need to make or get sponsored. And then after the ambulance stuff, I have some really big projects that I guess, you know what, fuck it, man. I'll go ahead and announce them now. I was thinking about saving them as I got closer and just kind of like, you know, just kind of announcing it as they came to fruition, which seems like the safe and smart thing to do. But this stuff has been in my head for like 3 months now, and I gotta say something. One of the builds I'm gonna be doing is with the Fiero. It's not gonna be the first one I take on after the ambulance, but it is gonna be a build. I'm gonna chop it the fuck up, do custom long travel suspension on it, LS swap it, do a mid-engine transaxle setup in it, Baja buggy. I'm talking like 16 inches of travel. Not really sure how I want to do the rear, but it's going to be long travel. It's going to be able to handle jumps and stuff like that. And I'm going to custom fabricate literally everything. And I'm just going to fucking do it. I've been drawing plans for it for like months. I've been doing CAD designs. It's been a fucking problem in my head, but it's going to happen. Avalon King is already agreed to like sponsor that build to get it funded because I can't afford it otherwise. But I'm going to need like, you know, a good transaxle setup that is good for like 600-700 horsepower. I'm going to need a built engine. So probably like LS1, LS3, what's that sideways one? LS2, LS6? Transaxle setups are expensive, by the way. But that's gonna be a big project of mine that I'm gonna take out very seriously. It's gonna be so badass. I have a vision in my head. You're gonna fucking love it. So here's the kicker on the project that I will be taking on next. The second the ambulance is done and the dually's done, which should be soon. The dually is almost, it's like this close to being ready to come home. It's painted, all I gotta do is assemble it. The glass is in it already. I mean, we're like this fucking close, bro. But once the dually comes home and that thing is good and registered and the ambulance is done, I will be taking the whole section where the ambulance is in the shop, this side, right? That's where it's gonna be. And you guys are gonna hate to hear this one. The shop truck, the 95, the not a build truck, will officially turn into a build. I'm not even gonna tell you what my plans are with that truck because literally nobody has ever done it that I can see. And it will maintain the same aesthetics that it has now. So like aesthetically, like a couple things might change, but as far as like how it looks is exactly how it's gonna stay. But I have so much effort that I'm gonna put into that build. Let's just put it this way, cab off, bed off, frame up stuff. When that time comes, which should be pretty soon, I'll go into full detail about what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna do it. I'm really fucking excited for that one. This is, I think that's gonna be my breakout build as a shop. it's been a long time since I've pulled these carbs off. I'm not sure I really want to. I mean, not yet anyway. If I pull, I have to pull the motor at some point. Oh yeah, look at what I dug out at the closet the other day. These old school Rolling Sands bars that I bought a long time ago. These are expensive as shit. I think they're like $500–600 bars that I ended up hating long term. Not because they're bad bars, just changed the idea of the profile of the bike. Hell, I might chop these and reuse them. That could use with like a little bit of mod there. Alright, I do think that here's a good place to stop the video for today. I feel pretty satisfied just getting it kind of breaking down. I've taken a lot of good photos of it that I can use as reference. I got this like little drawing table that I use to like draw stuff out and make schematics and shit like that now. And I also have like a screen above it so I can reference the photos and make all sorts of cool drawings. I mean, I still suck at drawing, but the process is a lot better. Spent all this money and time to make myself better at sucking at drawing. But I will throw a couple photos of the bike up and kind of just redesign the frame on paper and then go from there. So like the more I think about doing that engine swap, the more I get excited about possibly doing an engine swap. It's a Honda, so I'm like maybe like an inline 4, like a CBR 1000 motor, but not like a new one with all the ABS and stuff like that. Keep it true to itself, maybe like a 05, 06 one, 2008 to 2012 ECU engine combo. Was that like 150-ish base horsepower? You do like, well, with an exhaust and maybe a tune on it, maybe like 160, 170 horsepower, and a bike that normally comes with like 70. So like we're almost tripling the amount of power if we do that, and a frame that looks like that. And this bike is already like stupid quick. For what it is, it's crazy fast. So I think like putting a 1000 motor in it, like an inline 4 1000, not like the Intercept. It's just that like I've rebuilt this bike like 4 or 5 times, and all I've done is just change the styling of it. It's still got the same motor. It's not making any more power really, other than like I did jet the carbs. I had a buddy jet the carbs back in the day, and it did make more power. I also would like to step away from carbureted. Like that's another idea. If I want to ride this bike consistently, I need to get rid of the carburetor. You know, or I could just not be a piece of shit and let my bike sit for a couple months when it's like nasty outside, but that is not gonna happen. If the comments are like, fuck you, don't you dare touch that bike's engine, you keep it the way God intended, like iron sights on an M16. If I do a bigger engine, I should probably do disc brakes in the rear. Fight it amongst yourselves, guys. I'm gonna go home and relax. Can't wait to see my loving girlfriend and my stupid dog. That's all I got for you guys for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. If you haven't already, like the video, share that shit, and then I'll see you in the next one.